Hi everybody, how's it going? Happy spring season, happy blossoming, beautiful things, color, new season. It's your girl Ntakwana Motseki, aka Leah Millionaire, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any episode. So today I want to speak about something that is very dear to my heart. Which is healing from the scars in our lives, or embracing that our scars are beautiful. Before I go any further, let me tell you a story about 3 physical scars in my life that have kind of left a permanent mark, and that I have had to embrace and appreciate that they are beautiful and that they represent more hope, more memories, more purpose than the pain that they started with. So stay tuned. Most of our scars are things that we try to hide in our lives. We try to give them as little public attention as possible because we find that they are ugly. We find that they devalue us instead of adding value to our bodies. Some of us have scars on our arms, on our legs, on our faces, on our bodies. I talked about the 3 physical scars in my life that have left a permanent change. So the first one is, I think when I was 9 or 10 years old, I had a case of appendicitis, and it's one of those horrible things that I pray you never have to go through. Don't even pray it, even upon your worst enemy. It's one of the most painful things to ever go through. I remember I'd gone to town with my mom, in a town just across the border from Maseru, which is called Lady Brand, and we were just doing some shopping with my mom. I would usually accompany her, go and run her errands, etc. And I kept on telling her, Mom, there's something wrong in my tummy. Mom, my tummy is painful. She finally said, I think we should see a doctor. Let's just go and see a doctor and make sure that everything is okay. So we went to see a doctor, and as soon as the doctor did his diagnosis, he was like, you have to rush to Bloemfontein now and have surgery because this young girl is experiencing a case of appendicitis. And I didn't know what that is. I was kind of confused when my mom started panicking and the doctor started making arrangements for us to go, to Bloemfontein and have this surgery. To cut the long story short, thank God for medical aid, and thank God for mummies that make sure that we have medical aid. So I was able to get there, and the doctors attended to me, and I had that surgery. Beautiful thing is I went to a very good hospital. They didn't really cut me open, leave like a vertical or a horizontal big incision. They didn't have to do that. What they did is, it's a term that I will put down somewhere on this video because I don't remember what it's called. And what they did basically is they inserted a tube from my side going to my navel, from my navel to my pelvic, and this tube was able to go in and take out that damaged appendix. And thank God it was able to be found in the nick of time. If it had burst, things would have gone south like very quickly. And I really thank God that I was able to go to the doctor on time and have my appendix removed on time. But the thing is, I now have 3 scars on my tummy because of that surgery. I have a scar on my right side on my tummy, and then of course on my navel, and then on my pelvic. And most of the time, as a young girl, I used to think, oh man, this is not popping, this is not hot. I used to think it's just, one of those ugly things that are permanently tattooed on my stomach. When you're young and you have such a scar, you tend to think it's kind of embarrassing and it's kind of ugly and you're uncomfortable. Remember, if you have followed me long enough, my video on my testimonies. I went to boarding school, so I was very, very uncomfortable, undressing in front of other girls, etc. Now that I think about it, that scar is so benign, it's not even funny, but for some reason it just made me feel some type of way. So the second scar that I'm going to talk about is one that really messed me up because I didn't anticipate it. I never thought it would happen to me. I got married very young. Not very young, but very young. Um, and I had my first child when I was 25 years old. And I had an amazing pregnancy. I was hardly sick. It's your normal first trimester, fatigue and whatnot. I was in the music team. I was a praise and worship leader, and I was still energetic. I could still dance. I could still sing. I was just a busybody. I was a youth pastor, so I was always with the young people, going up and down and whatnot. In a nutshell, my pregnancy was very healthy. At around 38 weeks, my membranes ruptured, but I was not aware because I thought it was just pee. I thought I was just peeing a little bit on myself. I remember that day there was a young people's meeting, and I was with the young people, planning as usual, driving up and down, getting things together because we're going to have a braai and fun activities and whatnot. I think my husband was busy with exams around then, so he was not around. So the pee continued to happen until I told my husband in the evening. I thought it was a joke. I just went like, honey, I've been peeing on myself the whole day. I don't know what is happening. This is a new pregnancy thing. And he decided to call his mom because his mom is a nurse. And the mom was like, I don't think it's very normal. Yes, you can pee on yourself a little bit when you're pregnant, but if you've been doing it the whole day, maybe you need to see a doctor because that could be your waters have broken and you're not aware. So what we did is we went to a local hospital, was around the area where we were staying in Masiri at the time. And when we got there, the doctor immediately did I don't remember what it's called, when they kind of check you and they have to go in there. And he was like, I don't even want to go further because I can tell that your membranes have ruptured, and if I go further, I might break your waters and you might have to deliver in this hospital. Because I know that you already have plans to deliver with your gynae in Bloemfontein, please go to Bloemfontein now. And I was like, what? Being the positive me, I tried not to make it a big deal. And he was also like, you know what, it's fine, you can sleep the night, but in the morning make sure that you go to Bloemfontein. So that's exactly what we did. Because I was 38 weeks pregnant, first child, I was not really prepared. I had not packed my hospital bag, and I remember there were 2 young girls there in my house that night. They came and slept over and they helped me pack, but I was just chilled because I was not in pain. Everything was fine. In the morning, we woke up with my husband. I did not have pajamas or I remember my sister had to give me her gown that she had never worn and some pajamas. I was just like not prepared. And also because I really didn't have money at that time to buy all that I needed. So I kind of thought I still had 2 more weeks. Why am I getting emotional? I thought I was still, I had 2 more weeks before I could get myself ready. Anyway, we went to Bloemfontein, and when we got there, I must admit, we went to Mimosa. If you don't know where Mimosa is, it's just another mall in Bloemfontein where I wanted to get a few things just to get ready. When we got to the hospital, they decided that we need to induce you because your membranes have been ruptured, and we need to make sure that you give birth immediately the following day because it's been a certain amount of hours with your waters leaking and it's not good for the baby, infections, wada. So I was like, okay, that was fine. The following day, 5 a.m., they induced me. I don't even want to talk about that story because that's like one of the worst things that I've ever had to go through physically. A couple of hours later, my gynae came by and I was not dilating, like nothing was happening. And to cut the long story short, again, around 9 p.m. that day, in fact, around 8:30, the gynae then came and said, you know what, the baby's heartbeat is now getting weaker and weaker and we have to do a C-section. That was like a word I did not want to hear because the plan was to have a natural birth. I was young, I was fresh, I was healthy. It didn't make sense. But anyway, I was told I have to have a C-section with my first child because I might lose her. And I remember crying and just being broken and just being disappointed at God and feeling like, how could you let this happen? You know, I was just an emotional wreck. And I thank God for my husband. I remember him praying in that hospital room. And I remember feeling the peace of God just... I wish I could tell you like details about this because it was just... it was interesting. But anyway, he prayed, and after he prayed, I just felt the peace of God rush into my heart, and I was just able to surrender. And we had the C-section at 9 o'clock. I think at 9:15, Toriso was born, and what an amazing feeling that I will never, ever forget. Literally, the presence of God just filled that room, and I had never seen such a beautiful, gorgeous little Bobby thing. That was mine. Third scar, let me not go on and on. Third scar is because I had already had a C-section the first time I had a child. With my second child now, Tim, I kind of didn't have any choice. My doctor had retired and I was now seeing another doctor, and she was like, you know what, we'll see. If the baby is not too big, then you can try naturally. But of course, we all know I make big babies, for those of you that know me. So my son was big, and I was forced to have a C-section again, and that meant another scar. And now my worry was, it's now two different doctors that are gonna cut me up. What matters is that the scar is there, and because it was done by two different people, you can kind of see that it's two scars, although it's one because it was done on the same place, but it's two scars. And I really struggled with this a lot. It took me some time for me to kind of get over the disappointment of, especially, you know, with the first one, it's fine. It can happen to anyone that you get sick and you have to be operated on there and there. But with my babies, I think it really, really affected me because I felt like I kind of missed out on the experience of, you know, pushing babies out. And even the way that it happened, it just didn't make sense to me. And so I remember I had to have a one-on-one conversation because I realized that this is a scar in my life that I look at almost every day. And it kind of hurts me and it kind of affects me. And that's when I decided to go to God and just talk to him about it, to say, you know what, I'm actually not okay. And I need healing, you know, from this disappointment, or from, you know, just seeing this scar as something that is ugly. And I remember, you know, God just assuring me that your scars are not ugly. Your scars should not represent disappointment. Your scars should not appear to be, you know, a form of failure in your life. And God showed me that scars represent healing. You know, a scar is something that comes after a wound has been closed up and you're only left with a mark that, you know, shows you that there was once a wound, but now you have a scar. And really, scars show us that we have been healed. You know, scars prove experiences in our lives. They mark experiences in our lives that we have gone through, but we have overcome. Scars show proof of life. You know, I'm not dead. C-sections didn't kill me. That surgery could have gone south, but I made it. Scars show or prove the faithfulness of God. I said some of us have been in car accidents and you have a scar on your leg, and it always reminds you of a time that you almost died. But because of the faithfulness of God, you were kept. He taught me that scars are actually beautiful, and it's something that is very hard to believe. But I remember Sheila Welch, an amazing author and preacher of the word, an amazing woman, gave me a beautiful perspective as well. She talked about how Jesus has scars in his hands and his feet. and how those scars have changed lives. He still has scars on his hands, on his feet, on his side. And those scars meant a second chance for humanity. Those scars meant reconciliation with God. Allow your scars to be a testimony. Allow your scars to be a testament of the faithfulness of God in your life. And some of us don't just have physical scars, but we have emotional scars. We have been scarred in our souls and in our emotions because of something that has been done to us. And some of us have been scarred by our family members from emotional abuse, sexual abuse, failure, disappointment, rejection. And it can leave a scar in your life that is stopping you from moving forward with your life. And here are some of the things that I would like to encourage you to do if you are such a person. Recognize the scar. Don't and I always say this in my videos, don't shy away from confronting a situation that is pulling you back, because you cannot conquer what you do not confront. Recognize that it's there and be open about it. Be vulnerable enough to talk to God about it and say, you know what? I have this scar because of what has happened, because of this particular person, because I instilled it on myself. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations where we actually expose ourselves to being hurt, and you have to come to the realization of admitting that and forgiving yourself. Don't pretend to be okay when you are not okay. Recognize that your scars bring victory. Like I said, scars are a roadmap of your life. They represent where you have been, and they also represent the victory that has come with that. They represent, the fact that you have conquered something that tried to destroy you. The Bible talks about the children of Israel, and different people in the Bible, after they would have a certain experience with God, they would erect an altar there and celebrate the goodness of the Lord. Some would call him Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Shalom. Some would call him Jehovah my healer, Jehovah Rohi, my shepherd, Jehovah Nisi. And their experiences allowed them to give God a name. Allow your scars to be a testament for you to give God a name. I can surely call Jehovah my healer because I have experienced healing when he saved me from that appendicitis going wrong, when he healed me from my C-sections. When I tell you that I have never had issues with my C-section, take courage, move forward with your journey. In this season of spring, just allow yourself to become a new person. Embrace change. Allow God to do a new thing in your life. Allow him to heal you from your past hurts. I know that many a times we hear the words that time heals all wounds, but I'm of the opinion that that is not always the case. God heals all wounds, and if you would come to him and allow him to heal you, allow him, to start that process. Sometimes it doesn't take a few months, it takes years, but if you are willing, and what is amazing as well is that with God, there is no time, there is no months, there is no years. What you may feel like is supposed to take you 5 years to deal with, God can, boom, in one day, in 1 hour, in one encounter, change your life, embrace you, and allow you to have a fresh start. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you were able to receive something, and I am looking forward to the new you. Please do leave a comment below. Share your scar story. Share what you have gone through and how you overcame it. And maybe share some of the things that you plan to do even as the spring season is upon us. A new change, a new project that you want to do. Remember, you are loved beyond the capacity, more than you can bear. And the more you spend time in the presence of God, the more you study the Word of God, the more you find your identity in Him. His presence is able to overwhelm the pain and the wounds that you have been holding on to. My name is Ntakwana Mutseki, and I love you. See you in the next video. Bye.